Hello students, welcome to my video number 44, and here in this video I'm going to start the next lesson of unit 3. The lesson is the shadow and the flash, and you all must be knowing the unit is based on science. So this lesson will also unfold things related to science, some inventions of it, and we will get to see many other things. But before that, we need to know the writer of this lesson. And the writer is someone called Jack London, and this is a part taken from his book, The Shadow and the Flash. So we are going to start the lesson now. But before that, let us see some words are given here. The words that we come across in our science books: transparent, translucent, and opaque objects. So these terms are, you must be familiar with these terms. So we are going to see why these terms are mentioned here, what these terms have to do with the lesson. So let us begin now. I'll give a reading first, then we will start the lesson. Paul Ticklon and Lloyd and Wood seemed born to rivalry with each other, and I to be the peacemaker between them. They were always competing, trying to outdo each other. When Paul Ticklon entered college, he decided to study the natural sciences, specializing in chemistry. Lloyd followed Paul's lead. Their rivalry soon became a noted thing throughout the university. Each was a spur to the other, and they went into chemistry deeper than any student had gone. So this we see, the story is based on two classmates, Paul Ticklon and Lloyd. They were classmates in schools and they joined the same university, and in their school days also they were competitors of each other, and in the college also when they went there also they chose the same subject and they became competitor of each other there as well. And they had a very high competitiveness among both of them. They wanted to excel each other in their study of their particular subject. So that is what we find, that this character Paul Ticklon and Lloyd and Wood, they were both rival. Rival means they had this competitiveness in their mind, that each one of them wanted to excel the other one in study. So that is why they had this rivalry. And the narrator, he always was the peacemaker between them. He always used to interfere and used to settle the things if there was any hot argument between them. So this is what we get to know about the narrator and his relationship with the characters. And they were always competing, trying to outdo each other, means excel each other. They both wanted to excel from each other. So that is what. And then when the school was over, when they had to join the college, they both decided to pursue the same subject. Like first the decision was taken by Paul Ticklon. He decided to study natural sciences and he thought of specializing in chemistry. Now Lloyd also thought of doing the same thing, and he followed the same, took admission in the same subject. And then their rivalry became a popular thing in the university. They came to be noted by everybody there in the university. Each was a spur to the other. Spur means someone who is always motivating the other one to do extra effort, to put extra effort in the thing. And each one was a kind of motivator to the other. And they went into chemistry deeper than any student had gone before. Now this competitive spirit is very important in a student's life. We should have this competitive spirit. Only then we can try to do, we will put extra effort and will try to excel others. But here we find that they were competitive spirit they had. They were over competitiveness was there between them. And that is, we will see what happens at the end because of it. Let us see now, continue this part. It was at my home, after they had taken their degrees and dropped out of the world's sight, that the beginning of the end came to pass. Now, this at the narrator house only, they both gathered there. They went there after taking their degrees, that is, the course was completed, and they went there to the narrator's house and dropped out of the world's sight. Means they just escaped from the crowd and went to the narrator house to have some time there. And that the beginning of the end came to pass. Beginning of the end means end of their competitiveness. Now the both of them will have separate life, separate decisions, separate path of life. But that is what it is meant here, the beginning of the end. That is, their rivalry, their competitiveness is going to end, and that was the beginning now. Now they are going to have their individual life. On the day I have in mind, Paul Ticklon had been absorbed all morning in my study over a scientific journal. And that day, this Paul Ticklon was, the whole day he was absorbed in the study. The study means here the library, the small studying room where some books were kept. There Paul Ticklon, he spent his time going through some books, particularly a scientific journal. I was out in the garden. The narrator was out in the garden when Lloyd and Wood arrived. Now Lloyd also came there. We soon began discussing the physical properties and possibilities of invisibility. A perfectly black object, Lloyd asserted, would escape and resist the sharpest vision. So this is what we see, that the two of them have come to the narrator's house, and they one is this Paul Ticklon is occupied in studying some scientific journal, and the other one, after some time, Lloyd also arrives there, and he have a discussion. He starts a discussion with the narrator about the physical properties and possibilities of invisibility. That means his main topic was, the topic of discussion was invisibility. And he was insisting on one particular property of black object. What is said, a perfectly black object, Lloyd asserted, that would escape and resist the sharpest vision. That is, if the object is perfectly black, then it will escape and resist the sharpest vision. That means anybody who's even having the sharpest, means very powerful vision, would also not able to see this object if it is perfectly black. So this was the topic of discussion that was going on between Lloyd and the narrator. Moving further, we see what is given here. Color is a sensation, he was saying. So this was going on between Lloyd, Inwood, and the narrator. Then again Lloyd said, color is a sensation, he was saying. It has no objective reality. Sensation means it is just a feeling. According to this Lloyd Inwood, color is just a feeling. It has no objective reality. Objective means it is not based on any facts. Okay, so here it has no objective reality, means it was not based on any fact which can be proved. Without light, we can see neither colors nor objects themselves. So everything, the whole credibility according to Lloyd goes to the light. That is, without light, neither colors are visible nor the objects. All objects are black in the dark, and in the dark it is impossible to see them. If no light strikes upon them, then no light is flung back from them to the eye, and so we have no vision evidence of their being. So this was the whole research or whole observation of Lloyd, that all the objects are black in the dark. As we know, if there is no light, everything looks dark and black. It is impossible to see them. And if no light strikes upon them, then their evidence of being there is not proved. Then no light is flung back from the eye, so we have no vision evidence of their being. Of their being means the object which is there and there is no light, then that object does not exist, means we cannot see their existence there. But we see black objects in daylight, I objected. Now the narrator, he said that, but we can see the black objects in daylight. It's not that we cannot see them. Very true, he said. and that is because they are not perfectly black. Now he is insisting more on this particular property. He is saying that the black objects are not perfectly black. Were they perfectly black, absolutely black, we could not see them in light as well. So this was the observation, or this was the study or research of Lloyd, that if the objects are perfectly black, then even in light we could not see them. And so I say, with the right pigments properly combined, an absolutely black paint could be produced which would make invisible whatever it was applied to. So this he is working actually on invisibility, that is things, something that is not visible to the eyes. And what he says, that if the object is colored or painted black, having right pigments in the color, right pigments means the perfectly black color, then that product, that particular object will not be visible to the eyes, even if it is receiving any light, even if light is striking on it. So this was the observation of Lloyd. Now we will get to see also what is the observation of Paul Ticklon, what is his base of his research. It would be a remarkable discovery, I said, still unconvinced, for the whole idea seemed too fantastic. So the narrator is not very convinced, means not very agreeing to the observation or agreeing to the theory that the Lloyd is sharing with him, but still he says that it is going to be a remarkable discovery if something like that could happen. That is, the object could become invisible if it is perfectly painted black. Remarkable, Lloyd slapped me on the shoulder. I should say so. Why, old chap, to coat myself with such a paint would be to put the world at my feet. And he broke off shortly, then added, well, I have begun my experiments, and I don't mind telling you that I am on the right track. So he has started his research on this particular observation, on this particular theory of his, and he is accepting this in front of the narrator, that he is very close to his research, and very, very soon he will get the result of it. So this is what we get to know about Lloyd and his research and his study. Now let us see what is the reaction of Paul Ticklon on this. A laugh from the doorway startled us. Paul Ticklon was standing there, a smile of mockery on his lips. So this, as we know, Paul Ticklon was also there in the house of narrator, and he was there engrossed in studying some books in the study of the narrator. But then he is also listening to the conversation of these two, and he gives a mockery, a smile of mockery, means he is making fun of it. You forget, my dear Lloyd, he said. Forget what? You forget, Paul went on, you forget the shadow. Now, he got one point there in the discussion, that the dark thing will become invisible, but nothing can stop having the shadow in the light. Anything that is there has a shadow when any light strikes on the object. So then he points out this thing, that you forgot about the shadow. Anything that you paint yourself or any object to make it invisible, but of course it is going to have the shadow of it. So what are you going to do with that? I saw Lloyd's face drop. Face drop means he became little sad at this. He understood that the point the thing that Paul pointed out was absolutely correct point. What will happen to the shadow? And if the shadow is there, the invisibility is not complete. The person can make out that there is something there with the shadow of it. So that is why, listening to that, Lloyd's face dropped. He became little sad, but he answered sneeringly. Sneeringly means with lack of respect, means he was not having any respect for Paul, as we know they were rival of each other. I can carry a sunshade, Then he turned suddenly and fiercely upon him. Look here, Paul, you will keep out of this if you know what's good for you. Now he replied to his answer that you don't worry, I will carry a sunshade. But he then became little fierce, little angry, and angrily he answered him that you just keep out of this, it will be good for you. So there we are going to stop now. So this is what we get to know about the story, the kind of interaction these people are having. So I'm going to end the video here. We'll continue with the lesson in my next video. Till then, take care everybody, and thank you very much for watching the video.